What is up, everybody? Man, almost didn't make it today. Almost didn't make it, but look, here we are. It's us. It's what we do. Artistic Freedom episode 59. It's always weird because I have to say it different every single time, considering that each episode is a different number. So I have to remember, I have to count in my head from 0 all the way up to whatever number we're at. I'm just kidding. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. This is a Q&A. You know what to do. Ask me anything. I see that you're already getting spicy in the comments. Hopefully my mic's not coming in too hot here. Let's see. If it is, let me know. Hopefully you can hear me good. Let's see here. Double checking everything. It looks like we got our crew on here. What's up, everybody? Even Shelly's in the house. What's up, Shelly? I know you're not the only dude on here. What's up, man? So what's up, Shelly? What's up, Dabria? Thanks for being on here. You know, we always love the American flags. There we go. Kim, what's up? Man, hello, everybody. Brody, Casey. I'll try to get to everybody. See, Natalie is on here. Going back up to your guys' convo already. Of course, we got Amanda. Amanda, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Christy, of course. It looks like some of you guys have been here for a few minutes, so thanks for being patient and jumping on with me. Again, if you guys have any questions, you know what to do. Ask it here in the comments section. You know what to do. Get spicy. Don't be dumb. Bring the questions. Just bring them on. I'm going to do my best today, again, to pay attention to you Facebook watchers / users. The reason I say that is because the comments don't always go through, but either way, I appreciate it and do my best. So looks like maybe I'm saying it hopefully correct. Tanya is also on Facebook. She's saying it's her first time. Well, thank you, Tanya, for being on here. Let's give you a nice little heart for this, if it lets me. There we go. Miss Barkis. Miss Barkis is on here, so what's up? All you guys on YouTube, all you guys on girls and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, what's up? Hope your day was good. This is the live. This is the Q&A. You guys ask me a question. I'm going to give you the answers, but you guys can also do the same here on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll do my best to answer them. So ask me anything you want. That's the whole point of the show. Typically, it originally started out with as a YouTube show to answer tattoo-related questions, but it's quickly turned into more than that. So if this is your first time, good luck. Looks like Ian's on here. What's up, Ian? Thanks for joining us. I love that button. It'll never get old. Well, one day it'll be old and we'll hear it again and we'll bring back memories. Kind of like the What Does a Fox Say song. Okay, so thanks guys for being on here. If you're on Facebook, ask questions. If you're on YouTubies, ask the questions. If you guys are on the interwebs watching me, ask the questions here in the comments. If you guys can, do me a favor. You can go ahead and, if you can see through the smoke, find the like button. Find the thumbs up button. If you're on YouTube, I think you have to get out of the comments section. You don't have to hang up on the video, but X out the comments section. And I believe, let's see if this does it on. Yeah, I believe you can access it there. If you're on Instagram, or I'm sorry, on Facebook, I think you just do the like. You could do one of these. If you're on Facebook, you're watching that. You could see that. You could do one of these if you're watching. I'm going to give you guys a bunch of emojis. So feel free to show the love and the support, and I will answer all of ye questions as long as they are at least somewhat appropriate and near rated R or less. Natalie, thank you very much. Just saying the tattoo I did today was rad. Actually, today's tattoo was kind of interesting. I'm going to go ahead and send it to my screen and show this to you guys. Just because this tattoo I did today was... Go ahead and airdrop this to my old computer. This tattoo that I had done was typically something that would take me, I would say, twice as long as I did today. It's got a little bit of a story, a little bit of adventure. Let's see here if I can get this up. Make it as viewable as possible. It's kind of it's a big piece, so let's switch to that. Hopefully this works. There we go. So there we go. This is what I was working on today. And let's scoot this over a little bit. And not only an interesting and fun piece, but it was pretty big, actually. Definitely bigger than the size of like my hand, which is big. But It was on old Mikey here, old man Mikey. And yeah, I got it done. I think it was like, let's see, 4 hours maybe total. I wasn't in a rush, but it just went fast. It was a very smooth piece. So a lot of times when it's not a tattoo that's like has to be perfect likeness to like a loved one or a celebrity or something, it's more of a character. It goes quicker just because you don't have to be, I guess you could say, as accurate. Still do a good job, but that's basically what we're doing here. Shelly Bear saying sick. Thanks, Shelly. Amanda, thank you. Appreciate that. Casey saying the teeth are awesome. Actually, that's the part that I enjoyed the most besides the eyeballs. That eye, I don't know which way you're seeing it. I guess you would see it. It's on your right side. That right eyeball is actually the eyes in general. Those were super fun. Yes, Dave is saying she loves eyes. So I'm just bringing this up just to chat about it for a second because sometimes this stuff takes all day long. And this episode, this one only took me about 4 hours. It took me a couple of hours to prep for it and draw it. And plus, Mikey was late, right under the bus. Mikey was late, so we got a late start. And I definitely didn't feel like I was rushing it, but it was like super fast. I don't know why. We didn't do the candle that's actually to the side. That was done previously. But it was a lot of fun. And lo and behold, not for any sympathy, but I had a massive migraine today. And starting this piece, I was actually getting kind of dizzy and nauseous just because sometimes it hits you hard, especially with high concentration. But before I started, I was just like, dude, I don't know if this is going to be a good idea. And I just decided, you know what, fuck it. It's not going to stop me. So I just went for it, and we knocked it out and did a good job. Let me get this a little more lined up. So anyway, even with a migraine, I barely spoke. Mike was silent. He was watching his phone, and I was just straddling him from behind, poking him in the rear to get this done. And there it is. So thank you, folks, for bringing that up. I appreciate it. I definitely did my best. I think it came out good, and it was a lot of fun, too. So that's always fun. Kim says, I can tell you don't feel good. You have a massive headache, but either way, I'm going to forget all about it because you ladies and gentlemen are here, and we're going to have a good night. So there we go. Christy says, fucking scary good. Thank you. Yes, 4 hours. Was fast, actually. Let's see. I tell you don't feel good. Yeah, so it happens, but it's okay. It's totally fine. I actually already feel better now that we're live, and of course I have a nice Connecticut, nice stick here. This is the, in case you were asking, since you were or weren't, this is the Brick House, Connecticut. So it's a J.C. Newman, and it's actually really fucking good. And of course, for the luck that I have today, it's smoking perfectly. So anyway, super thankful for that. Sheldon says, I'm sure the cigar is not helping your migraine. Don't do that, Sheldon. This cigar is going to be what helps my migraine, as well as the sugar. Actually, I know what the migraine's from, so it's really totally my fault. Yesterday was a day I pushed myself a little hard in the gym just because I was trying to hit a personal record. I've always wanted to bench press a certain weight, and I finally got to do it, and I look forward to progressing even more from here, but it was just cool. My whole life I've wanted to hit it with 4 plates, and I fucking did it, and it felt good. And, of course, because my adrenaline was going, I went even harder, and I even did a little bit of back workout, so that always leaves, like, tons of tension up here. But it's the price you fucking pay, so ain't gonna slow me down. And, yes, so, Sheldon, the cigar is helping. Ian says you always work hard, one of the best in the business, and the inspiration to keep at it, whatever it is, might be for you. Whatever it may be for you. That's right. And speaking of that in the future, I'm actually going to develop a course. If you guys are, if anybody's interested, I know not necessarily many of you on here are, but my next course that I want to create, and actually not just course, but see if I can get this down. So I want to create a class actually for anybody in the cosmetic or beauty industry who is already licensed and works in such fields. I'm going to create a course for them to learn micro tattoos or, essentially small tattoos. So many people ask me. I actually just got asked again today and yesterday, and so it'll be a lot of fun to put that together. The website that this is all going to live on is going to be called the Tattoo Vault. The tattoovault.com is actually where this will live, so just a little teaser there. Ian says, I'm hitting new records in the gym too. Good job. congrats on the 4 plates. It's just cool. It's just looks like a lot of weight. And every time I saw somebody lifting that much, it just, I don't know, it looks cool. It looks like the amount a grown ass man should lift. I do have a couple injuries that kept me shying away from it just to be safe. And so I was just finally ready and fucking rock and rolled, and it worked. So it's pretty awesome. Lenore said, take some Excedrin. Honestly, I try my best not to do that. I try my best not to take any medication if I can't. If tobacco and a little bit of caffeine, which is, I guess, a drug, if that doesn't take care of it, then I'm just going to suffer through it. I'll wake up and it'll be totally fine. Let's see. And thank you, Dabria. Appreciate it. I mean, I talk about it on here actually a lot, like fitness and stuff like that, or just conditioning and making your life as good as it can be. I would say that it's very important to have goals, right? It's not just you shouldn't be winging it in life. If anybody who are watching this now, you're old enough to know how to turn on your phone and watch this, then you're definitely old enough to figure out how to get your life together. And yeah, it was just, like I said, I was just really thankful to be able to actually push that much weight yesterday. It was a lot of fun. And my adrenaline was actually so high that it felt fairly light, the weight did. And so I just kind of pushed it and I went pretty hardcore. And it's actually not uncommon for me to have some of that neck pain after a back and even shoulder workout. So anyway, aside from that, let's see, Rochelle's on here. Rochelle's on here. What's up, Rochelle? Love you. Glad to see you on here. Let's see here. Yes, and Natalie, actually, I did and do badly need a massage. I already hit up one of the places that I go to regularly. It's actually right by the shop. They were not available until 7, and I can't go then because where would I be now? And also the other therapist that I know that I use often, who's amazing, and sometimes she even joins us here, is also absolutely wonderful, but currently was busy as well. So tonight's just that night, and that's fine. Tanya says, hey, all, this is way better. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Just saying hello, giving you some love. There you go. Thanks for joining us. What's up? Artistic Freedom episode 59. Almost 60. That's cool. If you guys have questions, ask them. We're going to get into it now. So you guys shoot them my way. Let me double check Facebook right now, make sure that nothing's coming in that I'm missing. If I do, guys, just keep asking. I'll do my best. B is saying, can't wait to see your face in a few days. Right back at you, kid. And apparently I said Tanya's name correctly. Good. It's a very interesting way of spelling it. All right, here, going through this. Chantel's watching. What's up, Chantel? Desiree is also watching from Facebook, so thank you. All right, here we go. So we've got quite a few people on here. Let's get to the first question of the night. I have not screened any of these. After I got done with the tattoo, I came straight here and to join you guys. So here we go. That's not a question. This is often the case, but I think this is more satire for obvious reasons. I hope you guys aren't hearing that. I don't know if that's coming through. It's kind of loud. Let's see if I can mute that or not. Let me take a look here. Well, un momento. I don't know if that noise is coming through, the dinging from Facebook on the computer. I'll try to get it off here. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the... I'm trying to get Facebook up, actually, so I can just watch your guys' comments hopefully come through. That's kind of interesting. I've never seen it like this before. Let's go here. Yeah, I don't know how the comments... Why doesn't it show? Let's do this. Maybe full screen. I don't know how to do it on Facebook. I'm doing my best. So if you have questions on Facebook and you guys don't get them answered, don't yell at me. I do my best. Dings are coming through. Okay, I think I've muted it by now, so hopefully that takes care of it. Rochelle sent in the American flag. She knows what to do. Always excited to have those. All right. I need like an American flag sound. I need like, I don't know, something patriotic for sure. I don't know what song would be good. Every time a flag comes through, I don't know what song to play, but I'm gonna have to pick one and like real soon. It's a little difficult to program this audio equipment, which is this piece right here. This is actually fairly new to me. It's new to the stream, but it did definitely upgraded the quality of the audio. But I need to figure out how to download sounds to it. So the first question of the night is, are you single this week? Question mark. I think that's a joke. I know who asked that is actually watching. Did you check your IG messages? Probably not. Instagram messages. I have like 4 Instagrams for the business, for myself, my personal, and my tattooing. And so it gets hard to keep track of them. So no, I don't stay up on them. I actually get a lot of people get very irritated with me, and I'm fine with it. At this point, I've just had to accept that some people will be pissed that I don't always respond to Facebook and Instagram messages. I do not sit and scope it out like a hawk. So one of the reasons why I like to do this actually here is because it gives you guys a connection with me that I don't usually get to have. So it's really nice. And if I do get to have, it's always one-on-one, which is really great. But it's kind of cool to do as a group too, as you guys know. Shelly Bear saying national anthem, of course. Did I just kill this thing? I talk so much and I just let him go. It's my fault, totally. This thing was actually smoking really good, so it'll be easy to relight. Let's do this. Brick House, Connecticut. Here we go. Very nice. I don't know if you any of you guys are smoking a cigar or not, but if you are and you're joining me and enjoying one, then cheers to you. Okay. Yes, actually, Amanda, that's such a good song. That one gets you every time. Absolutely. Yeah, and Rochelle's concurring. Okay, so no, I didn't check my messages to the Facebook question. That was the first question of the night. The next one is interesting. How old are you? I'm old, but thanks for asking. How old are you? I am 40. Yep, I am 40. 40 and over half, almost 41. It's cool. You know what's a good thing is, like, as you get older, it's still a year till your next age. It's a good thing. It's not like once you get older, it goes from 40 to 50 to 50 to 60. It's a good thing we still got like a decade between, because shit goes by so fast. It feels like sometimes that's actually the case, but we got time. 40's young. 40, we'll look back when we're 80 and go, damn, where were young. So some of these aren't questions. I'm not going to read them all. This is good. Why do you ride a Japanese chopper when you can clearly afford American? This is coming from an old friend of mine. And you know, it's actually a good question, to be honest with you. So my motorcycle is a Yamaha, even though it looks like a Harley, so I call it a Yamaha Harley. The reason I ride it is because the motherfucker just keeps going. I ride with friends that are, if you guys have ever seen my episodes, even this last one, we actually showed a ride that we went on through the Redwoods. And a friend of mine's Harley, which was a newer one, actually broke down, had a mechanical failure, which actually honestly happens a lot, especially with Harleys. But not that Harley's not good. I'm just saying my Yamaha is, maybe I just got fucking lucky, but this thing is a rock star, man. It's fast. It keeps up with brand new bikes, even though it's a 03. It's comfortable, it's loud, and it's ugly. And so perfect, right? Just like I like my women. Okay. Ian saying, are you always working Saturdays now? Yes, I am. I'm always working Saturdays. Unless it's a weekend, I'm gone or I have a trip planned. But other than that, yes. Okay. Here. Craig's on here. What's up, Craig? Thanks for joining us. Let's give you a little bit of attention there. It might be the first time. I'm not sure. But either way, thanks for being on here. This is a Q&A, so you can ask me anything. So let's go here. He's saying, hey, what's up, Josh? What's up, Craig? Do you ever do guest spots at other shops? I don't, but I want to. I mean, I guess I kind of have, but it's not really something I do often. My shop keeps me quite occupied, and I'm booked for a year, so it's hard. I'd had to plan it really far out. But it is something I definitely should be doing. That's a great way to meet new people. Look at me growing up. Amanda says, hey, that's not old. I just turned 41. It's not old. I don't think it's that old. I still feel very young. People say you're only as old as you feel. Well, then I'm a fucking kid. So, okay. Casey's talking about the last video that we recorded. Episode 58 was really fun. I had Sheldon in here, and we did some recapping. If you guys haven't seen that one and you want to see a different type of video, less Q&A, more just commentary, watch last episode. Why does that keep coming on? For some reason, That's weird. Maybe I could turn it off down here. Sound effects. It might just stay. Either way, it's Facebook coming through. What's up, No Town? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on here. Guys, ask your questions. So let me get to these. There's not a ton of them tonight, so this is a good opportunity for you guys to ask something and throw it in there. So do your thing. But that's my answer to why I still ride a Japanese chopper. I actually am going to be buying American very soon, but that will be for another episode because it's quite exciting for me. Next question coming through Facebook is, again, not a question, just a statement. Handsome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Who doesn't like to be told they're handsome every once in a while? Even you ladies out there probably don't mind it. A little bit of ash on me. It's okay. Okay. Next question's coming from Facebook as well. No, these are actually Instagram. I lied. So these are coming from Instagram. This is best part of the trip. I'm assuming this is about the last trip that I just had. I'm guessing that's what this question is for or regarding. So the last little trip that I went on, I took all the girls, our annual camping trip for the shop. We brought all the girls and took them out to Ward Lake up in the Sierras. Our shop is called the High Sierra Tattoo Company, so it's only fitting that we all end up in the woods together at some point, and we did, and it was great. Many stories that will live and also die on that trip. So maybe in person you'll hear it one day, but definitely not for an online audience. But it was great. Nothing inappropriate like that, but just the girls were wonderful. Everybody had a good time, and it was a lot of fun and just fucking beautiful besides the damn mosquitoes. Craig saying, that's cool, man. I think we're cousins on my dad's side. Yeah, so Spinelli, that's it's an uncle. So that's cool. That's really cool. Ian says he watches the pre-recorded and forgets that they're not live comments, but that's cool. I don't mind. So yeah, he's asking the same question. Did you have fun on your shop camping trip? Absolutely. It was amazing. I mean, I always like to sort of summarize the trip bullet point wise, and really shows you how blessed you are when you get to do that. Even in life, if you guys do this, it's really quite a good way to recap. So like in life, you can do this for your whole life, for your week, for your month, whatever, especially if you're ever feeling, let's say, under the weather or down, or, like things aren't going your way. If you just kind of bullet point some stuff, like I do this a lot. Like, for example, during the camping trip, we got to go shooting. We went kayaking, a little bit of hiking-ish, walking, kind of trekking. We went into hot springs. We jumped in ice cold rivers, swam in rapids. Swam in lakes, jumped off rocks, barbecued, cooked, made breakfast, made meals, had wine, had whiskey, had cigars, good company, good conversations, met some new friends. We stargazed in the middle of the night, shooting stars, like everything was just fucking awesome. The weather was great. There was snow still up on the passes, and it was just absolutely wonderful. So bullet pointing things like that sometimes makes you realize how just blessed you are. Okay, let's see. Someone had a birthday. I missed it. Christy. I think it's Christy. Christy, is it your birthday? If so, well, you know. By the way, this Connecticut, do you guys, without cheating, know? I actually was reminded of this because here was the wrapper that came off it. It's kind of cool. I'll give you a little sneak peek. This Connecticut that I'm smoking, do you guys know which number state Connecticut was adopted? What number? It's not the right way to ask. What order was it adopted into the United States constitutional states of America, I guess you'd say? What number was Connecticut? If you guys know. Trivia is fun. I get to cheat because it doesn't say it, but it shows a certain amount of stars on this wrapper. So it's easy for me to remember. So I'm asking you guys questions now. And if you don't answer them, then I'm kicking you off. Underground lake in the U.S. You guys are just going to have to ignore that sound. Mike saying he wants to see the Joker piece in person. No, dudes. It's on his lower back. I was straddling him for the day. It's okay. It is what it is. cool. Looks like Tonya's on a little vacation. Let's see. You guys are having quite a conversation. Sorry, I'm reading. I'm trying to keep up. Sometimes there's questions, sometimes there's not. There we go. Mike says, do I need to rush over and give you an energetic sidekick? No. I think we'll be just fine. I promised the kids I'd be home. Actually, not too late tonight anyway. So it'll be nice to see them. Mike says 57th. No, definitely not. No, and nor was it 12. But closer than Mike for Connecticut. Sabrina's on Facebook saying, do you know the story behind Ward Lake? No story. No, I don't know any stories behind Ward Lake whatsoever. I've only actually been there a few times because usually I'm much further up in the woods. But since I was camping with a few rookies, if you will, actually definitely rookies, like first time camping as adults, I go to some of the lower lakes like that, lower-ish lakes. No backpacking for them. Natalie said, totally guessed. Yeah, you were close. Kimmy's got it. Good job. Good for you. You won. You won a bunch of clapping. So there you go. That was your gift. What's up, Amanda? Thanks for being on here. If you're going to bed or jumping off, we appreciate you. Enjoy. We're going to get to the next question. So Sabrina did ask on Facebook, do you know the story behind Ward Lake? I don't. I would love to hear it. But of course, I probably won't be able to get the whole story through a text. So we'll see what happens. All right. So the next question we're going to get to is also, I believe, from Instagram. So this is somebody asking about tattooing glow-in-the-dark ink. Recommended? ? Glow-in-the-dark ink. I don't really think anybody uses it too much anymore. Although I've seen it and used in the past. I know a friend who actually had it, and it was supposed to be invisible during the day, but you could definitely see it, like if you looked hard enough. So I don't recommend it. I've never used it. I have no interest in it. It's not really what I like to mess around with, but it's a good question. People ask about it a lot. That if you use glow in the dark, I shouldn't say glow in the dark. It's not glow in the dark. It's black light, but it's not something I've ever used. Seems to me a little dangerous, or seems weird actually for a tattoo that's getting injected in your body to have any sort of reactivity to black light. But I think it's just the color. I don't think it's anything too major. I should actually know something about glow in the dark ink, whether or not it's real. I don't think it actually is. I think it's all black light reactive, but I should know that. I really doubt that there's an actual glow in the dark pigment for tattooing. Okay, so we got a couple more questions we'll get to here in a second. Some of them, I usually try to screen them ahead of time, but I'm not going to. I'll just read them out right here in a minute. And Ian says, have you ever shot that rifle? Yes, I actually did take it up there for the first time, and it was like shooting a BB gun. And it was very accurate, too. Super awesome rifle, as a matter of fact. The Henry 22. Super, super cool. Perfect for kids or target practice or just cheap shooting. Nothing like a 22. Mike Connor's in the house. Let's see here. What are you asking? Okay. Scrolling down. So thank you, Mike, for letting me straddle you today. Appreciate it. You're so quiet, so calm. It's like you've done that before. He said, what make and mirror and model, what make, model, year of van is best to do conversion? It doesn't matter. Just get one and convert it and have fun. That's the point, right? Well, I would stay away from minivans, but like any sort of, passenger van, like Fords or Chevy Expresses or anything new, like the new ones now are taller, so that's most of them are taller, so that's cool. But if you ask me, a 4350 is probably the best way to go. The only side note I would give you there, if you were actually truly looking for a Ford or a van to convert, and then you were going Ford, get the 350 at least, or 450, I guess you could find one, but don't do the 150s. They're just not rated for much weight, and you're going to build some weight into one of those. So don't do that. Brody Jade's asking, how did Marge do? She's always does awesome. She is such a trooper, man. She makes my life so fucking good. Driving my van up into the woods is like, the woods and the outdoors are already awesome, but having the van up there, indescribable. It's so wonderful. No matter where I go or where we stop or, what we're doing, just parking somewhere cool, backing up the ass end to like a cliff or to a river or to just a nice sunset and open it up and relaxing. Wow, how can you beat it? Damer says, I don't know if the ink just leaks out or what, but it's super cool. She's talking about getting UV ink added. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I don't mess with it. It's not something I'm interested in. I don't know too many people who use it too often. I think it's just kind of gimmicky and maybe kind of fun or cool here and there for some people, nostalgic reasons. Yeah, Ian, you're right. It barely makes a sound and is like a BB gun. But definitely don't want to get shot by that rifle, especially if you put some long rifle in there, which I didn't do. I didn't have any. Tanya, thanks for being on here. It looks like you're jumping off. Appreciate you. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to the next question. Do you artists, thank you for assuming, do you artists ever appreciate a client that gives them creative freedom? Well, yeah, the show is called Artistic Freedom. It could be, I was thinking creative freedom would actually be the better name for utility purposes. Calling it creative freedom because people do say that. I'll give you creative freedom more often than they say artistic freedom. But artistic freedom just sounds cooler. It just looks cooler written down and sounds cooler. That's why the show's called Artistic Freedom, not Creative Freedom. Although creative freedom is a great way to put it. So, does an artist appreciate? That's not always true. For me, it's true. Yes, give me freedom creatively and artistically. But there's a lot of artists who don't want that. There's actually a lot of artists that want you to tell them exactly what it is you want them to do for you, and that's cool. Some people don't want to be creative or artistic. They want you to pick something off the wall. That's traditionally how it has been done for many years. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but that's not how I prefer it. So some shops, or at least some individual artists as well, can be considered custom artists like me, where we're not necessarily bound to, just picking something off a wall. So we can make something for you a lot of times with Photoshop or apps and things like that. You can put images together and get creative. So for some people, yes, that's important to know what you want when you walk in. A lot of times, if you just give me some skin, a bunch of money and time, and just say, make something really fucking cool, that's all I really need. Ian saying, are you excited to finish my sleeve in October? I'll be almost exactly 2 years after I started it. Probably would have been done sooner if I didn't move. Of course. I mean, finish your sleeve is always fun. It's always bittersweet after years and years of working on something awesome. And especially your sleeve, as colorful as it is, it'll be really cool to see it done. Everybody's probably familiar with the dinosaur sleeve I've been working on for quite some time. It's a very impressive piece for sure. Okay, let's see here. Of course, Danebro. What else would it be? You know what I mean? What else would it be? Okay, so next question. You guys can, again, always feel free to ask questions in the comments as well. Before I get to the next one, I'll do my best to make sure that I'm not skipping anything on Facebook. For you Facebookers, it's always better to join this on YouTube, which is just my full name, Joshua Ray Farmer. You can find me, see it live. That's when the comments all get streamed so I can see them. Otherwise, sometimes they go to the wayside and I don't always get to them. But either way, I do my best. Let's see here. No story. Nope, still don't. And they don't always load. I don't know what Facebook is. Just doesn't seem to like. Facebook doesn't always seem to like my my comments, and they don't always stream through. I don't know why, but it's kind of annoying. Mike, I have no idea what you just said. Brody says, can you guys put the Jurassic Park Jeep on his arm? You know what? That will be 100% up to Ian. See what he thinks of that. I don't know if it fits. I don't know if we're necessarily doing a Jurassic Park tattoo, right? I mean, we're just picking badass dinosaurs for Ian's tattoo. It's not necessarily a theme from a movie. So you're going to have to ask him. Well, I guess you just did. Let's see here. Mike says he gives me creative freedom on every piece that I do. And actually, it's true, except for today, he gave me a little bit of a a razz about picking the face we did, although now he knows it was the right one to pick. But yeah, sometimes picking the right image can be an issue, especially because nowadays there's so many good images. It's not like Google search is like limited to shit images. There's so many good ones out there now, and it's only going to get even better, especially with the technology available. Ian says it's actually more of an end of the dinosaurs, not Jurassic Park. Sorry. Man, I just watched a movie about dinosaurs, and I actually had no idea what the movie is about, which is the best way to watch them. No preview, no understanding of what it's going to be. Just explore and have a good time. I think most movies would be better off if you just didn't know anything about them and just watched them. Maybe you know what category they fall under, but that's about it. So this movie I watched, I want to believe it was called 65 or something, with Adam Driver. And anyway, he travels to some unknown planet. I won't ruin it for you, but he travels to an unknown planet, finds a bunch of prehistoric type beasts. It wasn't really that great of a film, but the concept of the film was really cool once you started catching on what was happening. The actual movie itself was okay. I just dig dinosaurs, so that kind of made it fun and worth watching. Ian says the asteroid wouldn't make much sense. Yeah, I guess if it was a Jurassic Park theme tattoo, that it wouldn't make sense. It's it's an extinction sleeve. That's what we should call it. We never named your sleeve, Ian. We need to do that. It's the extinction. Instinction. Instinction. That's not working. Okay, let's get to the next question. Well, actually, this is coming from Facebook, so Chantel will do my best not butcher this because he's coming so tiny on my phone. I get so many people stopping me to talk about your work, and I always tell them about your talented ladies in the shop as well. That's awesome. Thank you, and I'm sure they appreciate it too. That's always the best. A good shout out every once in a while. Never hurt nobody. Okay. So next question. Here we go. Thanks, guys, for being so patient with me. So stubborn as I am. All right. Next question. How many times can you touch up a tattoo? Does it tend to start making the skin change after a bit? How many times can you touch up a tattoo? Does it change the skin? You know, everybody reacts to tattoos differently. So yes, it can change the skin. I actually have a couple of tattoos. Actually, one of them is this one on my arm, this Iron Cross. And every once in a while, just like a certain area of it actually acts up. So it wouldn't be something I would go over. So can you touch up a tattoo? Yes, you could pretty much theoretically infinitely touch them up as long as they're being done right. But if the tattoos are scarred in any way, like if the tattoos are raised up or keloided or anything like that, that can be an issue. So you shouldn't go back over it. And if it was done correctly and you're doing it correctly again with the right artist, aka go to my shop, then it shouldn't be too much of an issue. The artist can probably discern whether or not it's good to go back over it. Of course, you want to make sure it's healed, but a lot of times you can oftentimes touch up tattoos. Speaking of touching up, it's good to note that touching up color tattoos is way, way harder typically than black and gray, because black and gray over time fades, which is actually kind of a nice effect. Then you can later on come back and either sharpen things up or add black to it again, which just really adds more dynamic contrast to it. Whereas color, especially if it's a person or a character or something very specific, can be very difficult just because you're trying to match flesh tones, and it's way later on. It could be years, many years later. So it's hard to match that sometimes. Not always, but most of the time. If you have a red rose, you want it touched up. A lot of times it's not uncommon for us to have to just redo the whole thing. Because if you just touch up one part, it looks brand new. The rest looks old. It just looks silly. So we try to encourage people, if they're going to do touch-ups, to do them, within 3 to 6 months of the tattoo being finished. So it doesn't all look super weird later on. But also we don't charge for them. It's all included in the tattoo as a touch-up. As long as you're not doing any additions to the tattoo, then the touch-up part we don't charge. Ian has still not gone to the Jurassic Park set in Hawaii. I've never been to it either, but I've heard it's amazing, by the way. So I'm sure you have. Trina's on here. Thanks for joining us, Trina. She's saying, do you charge per hour or per piece? how far are you booked out? Booked out right now, January, February, only because things have been slowing down. This year is getting weird for people. I can tell because this is the first year that nobody's brought me their tax return money and said, hey, put this towards my next session. This is the first year in my whole life that this has not happened. So I feel for you guys out there. If you're not well aware, we are clearly in a recession. Things are changing economically, and of course, it's going to affect small businesses. Well, everybody really. So how far am I booked out? It's January, February. Do you charge? It's usually anywhere from 9 months to a year. She's also asking, do you charge per hour or per piece? Usually per hour, just because it's more fair for everybody. Ian knows this. I could pick something the size of a softball and get to tattooing it, and I can tell you, hey, this is going to be 3 hours, and 6 hours later, we're still not done, and I end up getting pretty screwed over that. So I do my best just to stick with the hourly. It's much more fair for the artist and for you, because if I quote you $400 and it only took me 2 hours, and say somebody only charges $100 or $150 an hour, well, then there you go. So per piece, I don't really know too many people that charge per piece much anymore. It really seems like it's a little harder to, tattoos have gotten more complex now, so they're hard to guesstimate how long that will take. Plus, if you want something really good, it's going to, something really detailed. Shouldn't say really good, that's subjective. If you want something really detailed, you're going to have to be patient. It is a good question, though. I get asked that quite often. And just like I told Ian when we started his sleeve years ago, I told him it's going to hurt a lot. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be really expensive. And I'm just not going to lie to you about that. It's just the facts. For you to get what I can give you, you're going to have to sit for long periods of time. You're going to have to pay a lot of money. And you're going to have to give me at least some artistic freedom so I can create something really badass for you. So charging per hour, per piece. I always remind people as well, like let's say get something size of a softball. And somebody says, oh, I charge $200 an hour, like I do personally for color. The problem is you don't know how much that person could get done or how well. You have to take into consideration the factors of, the quality, the detail, and whether it's color or black and gray. That's going to really change. I mean, I can do a tattoo the size of a softball in minutes, depending on how complex it is. And I can also take all day. So it's relative to the piece. So charging hourly for me works much better. Danber says he missed Ian missed the Joker earlier. Oh, the joke, not the Joker. That's funny. I heard it's illegal to laugh out loud in Hawaii. You have to keep it aloha. That's silly. I think my kids told me that joke last year too. That was pretty good. Shelly, thanks for being on here. I know you got to get up early, so thanks for joining us. I'm a little behind. I apologize, guys. I do my best. No Town has a good one. I have a silver engineering joke, but it's still under construction. That's all right. Take your time. Ian says, just pay the price. Josh is worth it. Yeah, if sometimes people come to me and they want something that's not my style, something really simple, or they want a touch up or a cover up, or they want to rework something. It was done years ago. That's just really not worth, I don't want to say worth my time, but it's not worth the person coming to me for, just because my skill level is far beyond just kind of tribal armbands at this point. So it's not really worth paying my prices for something like that. So I always encourage people to, kind of a little sort of salesman trick of mine is when people say, hey, I have this cover up or a touch up, which I most likely won't be helping you with. Can I come in and show it to you and do a consultation? I say, absolutely, let's set it up, because I'm going to 100% try to pivot you and talk you into doing a bigger piece that's my piece, that's not something. I'm going to talk you out of the cover up. You can go somewhere else to that and come to me for something amazing. That's going to be my angle. And Christy absolutely said it 100% correctly. There you go. That's how you do it. That's how you get it done. Okay, there we go. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them out there. Let me double check Facebook real quick so I'm not missing anybody. If I am, I apologize again. But either way, I appreciate you guys. It takes so long to load on Facebook. Facebook should stop saying the word. FB, good old interwebs. Yeah, I don't see anything loading, so. Mike says you're carrying this art for a lifetime. Invest. 100%. You know, back in the day when I would do sleeves or like big pieces for people or back murals, a lot of times I would quote them for like a sleeve, and I thought that was a crazy amount of money. They would say, how much for a sleeve? And I'd say it's anywhere between 11 and, $1,200 to start. Could be, twice that if you're, getting something really detailed and colorful. But nowadays it's even more just because things have changed. We're in a down economy, but still, the cost of things is through the roof. So it's crazy during COVID, during all the shutdowns, buying a pair of gloves. I remember I went to the store and I bought a pair of gloves and some oil, actually just one thing of oil and one box of gloves, and it was $50. So anyway, gloves were like $25 to $30 a box, which before that it was like 7 to 12 max. And so, things got expensive. So he's saying you're carrying art for a lifetime, invest. It's not a bad idea to look at it that way. I get not everybody has the money, and sometimes they don't need that quality, or I shouldn't say that. They don't need that type of artistic level. Maybe they don't want something that's, portrait realism or, sort of hyper realism, photorealism. And I get that. That's totally cool. Most of the stuff that I get is not that either. So I totally get it. Ian says, they say you can't take anything when you die, but we do take our tattoos with us. Momentarily, you're right, especially if you've been mummified. But what's interesting, too, is, as a tattoo artist, I've mentioned it before, it's very surreal when, a friend or even sometimes just a client, someone you've never met outside of your business, but has become quite a friend to you that over the years, it's happened many a times, more than I'd like to count, where people have passed away and going to their funerals and their memorial services and realizing more than maybe anybody else in that grave is me with them. So especially if I heavily covered them, it's a very surreal sort of experience, very humbling. Trina says, Ian, I definitely think he is. That's why I'm asking. Thank you. Good night, Kim. Thanks for being on here. Appreciate you. Okay, let's get to the last question of the night. If you guys want this to continue, you're going to have to ask more questions. If not, this will be it. Does medium to darker skin tones tend to absorb certain colors, reds, purples, yellows, ? Do medium to darker skin tones tend to absorb certain colors? The easiest way to explain that and to the easiest way to understand this is not I wouldn't say with colors. Colors are very specific to skin tone. So, we always have to look at people's skin tone, and like I'm usually a little more reddish in my skin tones, where some people are a little more sort of like a bluish kind of color. Even if they're tan, they're a little more on the like towards brown. Some people are towards red. If they're tan, if they're really pale, they're usually towards a really light skin, and they could be a reddish tone or they could be a bluish tone. As strange as that sounds, maybe if you're not an artist, that sounds strange. To us, it's normal. So you have to be careful what colors you use because it will look different. But the best way to understand, let's say color, whether it's black and gray shading or if it's actual colors, whatever color it is, the best way to understand how it's affected by the skin is imagine if you were to look at a piece of art and then you took a layer of your skin cells, whatever pigment or color or tone you are, and you, regardless of the color of your skin and the darkness of your skin, if you were to take a piece of clear film that's the same tone as your skin, and say it's semi-transparent, right? The less melanin you have in your skin, the more transparent it's going to be. So the more you'll be able to see through it like a window. The more melanin you have, the less transparent it will be, and you won't be able to see through it as well, which is also why UV rays don't affect darker skin people as bad as lighter skin. But if you were to take a piece of film, the same tone as your skin, and you had to hold it over a piece of artwork to look through it to see the art, that's essentially what a tattoo is. Once your top layer of skin cells heals, it's going to heal over the tattoo. The tattoo exists under that layer, so therefore you're looking actually through your dead skin cells and trying to observe the tattoo through that. So if you have really dark skin, and let's say you did a really medium to light gray or a really light tone, like maybe a yellow or something really, really faint, by the time the skin grows back over it, you're not even going to see it. So there's a lot, the darker the person is, the less opportunity they have for like tonal contrast or having a big scale, like going all the way from like red to white. They're not going to be able to do that. They're going to get mostly stuck with almost always primary colors and really dark blacks, and that's almost it, depending on how dark their skin is. Ian saying he's not a stop in and get random tattoo kind of artist. You know, I definitely obviously started that way, but I've worked my way to the skill level now to where I get really blessed with being able to do amazing pieces, big, huge, colorful pieces. You know, it is sometimes kind of funny to me being an artist. I have to be a little sympathetic that most people aren't, and also that you know, people are maybe unfamiliar with tattooing, even though this is my life. It is it's something I have to remind myself that most people that's not true. So they're going to come into questions or concerns that to me seem silly. One of them being, you know, people will come to me and say, "Oh, these portraits you did were amazing. I loved them. Can you do my infinity symbol?" Or, "Hey, that piece, that whole sleeve you did on Ian was so great. Can you do my dog's paw print?" You know, it's not that I'm degrading any of those ideas. Those are great ideas, and they mean a lot to people many times. But it's just kind of funny to me because they see this amazing piece I did and then ask me to do this really basic thing. I don't know. I don't even know how to liken that to anything. Maybe like a mechanic, someone who builds custom cars and restores them. And you say, "Oh, that's amazing. Will you change my tire for me?" It's like, no. I get it's mechanical work, but it's not all the same. It's not all created equal if that's the case. That's your uncle. Maybe your uncle will change that tire for you. Danbury says, "What's the purpose of shaving?" This is a good question. What's the purpose of shaving the area before tattooing? To prevent ingrown hairs or something? One is hair actually, you know, obviously carries many bacterias, but also clogs up the needles. It also affects the way the tattoo gets applied, meaning I have to, especially if you're really hairy, if you're anything like me, you got to work through quite a bush. So I guess depending on where you're getting tattooed. So yeah, you got to shave it for one. You want to clean the area and make it sterile. It's really hard to do when you have hair that's carrying plenty of bacteria. Also, too, if you're going to apply the stencil that makes the tattoo, you know, transfer, at least the design transfer to your skin, it's not going to work very well with hair. So you want to shave that off and clean the area. Gives us so the purpose is really just to have a clean environment. But you're saying, is it ingrown hairs or something? Not necessarily. Sometimes ingrown hairs are just part also of getting tattooed. It sucks, but it does happen. And it's obviously if somebody shaves you correctly. Christy says, "And why not wax?" Because I would hate to have a wax dietitian, a waxing person, whatever they call them, in my shop just waxing people all day. Plus, it's quite brutal on the skin, so you can get pretty red, and I don't want that to happen before the piece. So shaving it works just fine. 25-cent razor, as long as you do it correctly, it's going to be just fine. So that's the reason. And a lot of people ask if they should, whether or not they should actually shave before they come to their appointment. You know, they say, you know, "Do you want me to take care of it before I show up?" Meaning like, you know, does it matter if I shave this morning and then, you know, get my tattoo in the afternoon? Well, it does matter, because if you're like me and you start getting a 5 o'clock shadow by noon, then now you have stubble, we'll have to shave you again, and it's just bad. If you have stubble during your tattoo, like you shaved it yourself, and I'm wiping you down with paper towels, the paper towel falls apart all around the tattoo as I'm working. So I have to get rid of that sandpaper. And for that reason, it's better just to let your artist do it. Now, it doesn't hurt. I wish everybody would do this if they're really hairy. It does not hurt to trim the area with, obviously, clippers. Get it down really low so we don't have to beat through some serious Australian thick bush to get to, it sounds so bad, to get to the skin. So if you could knock it down a little before we get in there, that'd be great. But man, sometimes people come and they're just straight up just bushed. Like say it's their chest or shoulders or arm or leg, and they just got this thick bush of hair. We obviously got to get through that. But if you could trim it up for us, then that would be great, and it should save a lot of time for me to have to shave a man's chest. Middle of the day is always weird. So yeah, that's how I answer it. A lot of people actually ask the shaving question often. Some of the most common questions I get are about anything from shaving and prepping the skin ahead of time. People ask, is there anything I could do every appointment I have? Because it's going to be maybe close to a year before you actually get your appointment. People will ask, is there something I can do to prepare for the appointment before I show up? And the answer I always give them is, one, for the appointment, to come dressed really comfortable, well fed, well rested, because you're going to be able to tolerate the day better and even the pain better. But ahead of time, to be well hydrated and make sure that your nutrition's good, so that the healing process is nice, but also the skin. If you could prep the skin, whether it's lotions or just staying hydrated or both, just really taking care of your body and taking care of your skin before the appointment does actually matter. The better the canvas is for us to work with, the better the tattoo is going to be. And for some of you dark-skinned people, dark-skinned and maybe not naturally dark-skinned, meaning if you have a deep tan, avoid the tan as much as you can before you get your tattoo, especially in the summer. We're in California, so I get it. A lot of you guys are pretty dark in the summer here in the Valley just because of our weather. So do your best to essentially avoid sunburns and avoid getting too tan in the area, because the darker you come in to get tattooed, the less of a sort of, you could think of it as like a scale, a contrast scale. You're going to have less of a scale for us to work with. It's just not going to be as good. So you're not going to get super, super dark blacks, and you're not going to get real light gray shades. So it's actually often I've turned people away because they come in so tan and they want a portrait in that area. And I know their skin because I've tattooed them previously. I send them away and just say, dude, start putting sunscreen on that area before you come in next time, or reschedule it so I can do a better piece for you. So it does actually matter quite a bit. No, Towns has real thick, like old shag carpet. Yeah, people come in like that for sure. One of the worst ones was, this is so gross. One of the worst ones was this kid who came in and he wanted a chest piece and he had no hair. And I busted out the razor. He goes, oh, no, bro, you're not going to need that. I go, oh, okay, cool, whatever. So anyway, I already had it out. So he takes his shirt off. I'm about to put the stencil on. And this dude's got I nicknamed him Nip Fro because he had literal froze, and he was a redhead too. So it was a ginger Nip Fro. The dude had actual afro looking hair, engulfing his nipples. And that was it. And I'm like, dude, you couldn't have taken care of that for me before you came. But anyway, it's a real long day when you got to shave some redhead's nipples. Weird conversation if you guys just jumped in and caught this. Let's see here. I don't want to miss some of the questions coming through. I apologize if I do. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back up. Here we go. So Dambria is saying, how about using lotions or hand sanitizer? Are you talking about to prep the day of or day before? Is that what you mean for the tattoo? Because if that's the case, using lotions and hand sanitizer, I don't know why you would use what you're asking exactly. If you can clarify, do my best to answer. Casey says I'm pasty white. The pastier and the whiter, the better. It just works really well with tattooing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found this on the web for In the Water of the Better just works really well tattoo.
Yeah,
Check it out.
I hate that. It's so annoying. Okay, so Ian, yes, he is very pasty. You can't really tell in his picture because he's trying to look cool, tough, and tan. But this motherfucker is white as shit. So he gets all the darks, all the lights, all the colors, whether it's white or black. It comes out on him really well. It does definitely matter. Let's see. I felt really bad one time. This lady came in, super nice lady, and she had told me, she goes, one of my goals is to be the first African American tattoo model, is what she told me. She goes, I've never seen a black tattoo model, so she wanted to be first, and so she gave me all her tattoo ideas, and it's like how she wants to get covered, right? And I kind of didn't have it in my heart to tell her there's a reason why there's not a whole lot of, if really any, black tattooed models. You almost never see them, especially in magazines, because, well, it just doesn't lend well to the type of artistry that's out there now. So I couldn't break her heart and tell her that. So I just was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. Just kind of agreed with her. Yeah, but it's just facts. The darker your skin is, the less you're going to get out of it in terms of tattooing, of course. So it looks like we have almost 20 people on here watching. Yeah, a little over 20, which means I should have plenty of thumbs ups and hearts and or whatever you can to support what we're doing here. I always appreciate it, whether you send American flags, emojis, obviously your guys' comments always help. But also if you're on Facebook, I think on Facebook, if I'm correct, let's see here. I don't know if you can like thumb up or like or whatever. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you can. There you go. I just sent it thumbs. Anyway, but all of it helps. All of it's cool. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. But no, it's all good if you guys send the thumbs, send the thumbs, send the hearts, send the emojis, send whatever you want. It's always super fun. I can't forget Linda, by the way. You guys want to say hi, Linda? Linda, if you're watching, which, by the way, somebody on here was watching if you're still here. If you're still watching, just tell Linda she's my favorite. Perfect. Dambrier said that this just turned into Loveline. God, I remember that show. That was so fun. Brody Jade is on here asking, black and gray better for medium to darker skin tones? Black and gray better. So is black and gray better for darker skin tones? You have to have high contrast if you have dark skin tones. If you're real dark, sometimes you literally have finished tattoos that heal. You almost literally can't see them until you kind of move them in a certain light and at a certain angle. It's very difficult. But usually just black is essentially what they're... people ask a lot, if you have really dark skin, can't you do a white tattoo? Or if you have, it's kind of contradictive because if you have really light skin, then your blacks are going to come out super black. If you have really dark skin, you would think white would come out really bright. It's actually not true. The lighter you are, the better white comes out. And the lighter you are, the better black comes out. So it's a little sort of contradictive in a sense, but it makes sense when you think about the fact that you have to look through the top layer of healed skin to the actual tattoo and where it lives, which means the darker that top layer is, the less you're going to see through it. So if you get white and you put it in someone's dark skin and then their skin heals over it over time, you have to look through those skin cells to see the tattoo. So you're not going to see white through really dark skin. And if you do, it's going to be definitely not white. It's going to be some sort of maybe a tan or a light brownish color at best. So definitely not white. People ask that a lot. But what's better for darker skin tones? Definitely depends on how dark. Let's just say the darkest skin I've ever tattooed was on this Indian kid that I used to tattoo. Actual from like India person, not native. So he was a really dark kid and I could only get black. Honestly, that was the only thing I was able to work with. And it's not too often that's the case for me, at least my clientele. But yeah, it's not uncommon for that to be the case where black is pretty much all they're limited to. Okay, here Dambrier is asking the question. Before getting tattooed, does perfume, lotion, and all that kind of stuff bad to use? Well, we're going to clean the area no matter what. So it's not necessary for you to put it, like to lotion the area before the tattoo doesn't really matter. To be doing it well before the tattoo, days, weeks, months leading up to it, that will help. But the day of won't really matter too much. But the less the products, the better, just so that we don't have to clean it off too much and it doesn't get soaked up into your skin. Perfumes are full of all kinds of things that can irritate the skin. Same with lotions, actually, depending on what you're using. Well, I guess you're saying, are those things bad to use? Well, that's a long conversation because we put all kinds of stuff on our body all the time. It's really bad, especially lotions and soaps and detergents. There's all kinds of bad. Don't even go down that rabbit hole. I'm telling you. I have to do it because it's my job, but there's so much shit we use in our skin that's terrible for us. Some of it's actually banned and it still shows up in our products, so it's real dangerous. The more natural, the better, right? I'll be that hippie to say so. The more natural, the better for your, the healthier skin and the conditioning of your skin before the tattoo, for sure. Ian, I see what's going on. This Loveline thing's awesome. Dane says, do you do face tattoo? Do you do face tattoos? What was the last time you did one? What was it? I don't do face tattoos. Again, I don't do small stuff. Maybe in the past I used to do them, but we're talking 10, 15 plus years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I don't really do them anymore. People want my portraits, realism, and photorealism. So I don't really do that anymore. I did have a lady come in maybe about a year ago with some dude's name. She's a beautiful girl too, very attractive. But one side of her face, the whole side was just some dude's name, like right across her jaw. And if she could grow a beard like mine, maybe she would be able to pull it off and cover it. But unfortunately, she just had this just terrible, well, it was not only done wrong, done terribly, but it was just a guy's name across her face. And she asked me if I could cover it, and I told her, no, like, what am I supposed to cover your face up with? But no, I don't do them. There are people that do. They're definitely not uncommon, but it's just not for me. So the last time I did one, I really couldn't even tell you. It's been so long. And I live in Clovis. I don't get asked to do it too often. It's very rare. Actually, I think the last time besides that girl that somebody asked for it, it was a gang-related tattoo they wanted on their face. And I just rejected it for that reason only. But yeah, I don't really do them. I don't even tattoo really heads that much. Maybe the side or like neck or lower back of the head, but not too much of that in these parts. Landy's asking a good question. Is it better to start dark to light when tattooing or light to dark? I can't answer that because there is no yes or no, which means I guess my answer is yes and no. Is it better to start dark to light when tattooing or light to dark? It really is relative to what you're doing. You know, if you're tattooing color and you're doing a lot of light skin tones and a lot of whites and a lot of peaches and maybe like flesh tone type colors, which are really, really, really light, and you're really damaging the skin quite a bit, meaning it's nice and chopped up, if you will, and then you do black next to it and wipe it over it with your paper towel, that black's going to get stuck in those light colors, so oftentimes muddies it up. It won't heal bad. It's going to heal and look just fine. It won't affect the end result, but it's going to affect what you're able to do that day. So it's very, very much going to matter if it's color. But if it's like black and gray, it really doesn't matter unless it's a technique you're using to achieve a certain sort of tone. I'll actually bring it. Here, I'm going to show you guys something. Some advanced tattoo shit I'm about to show you. So y'all should be paying me for this. But instead, I figured, you know what? Let me just give it away for free. So Landy's asking, is it better to start dark to light when tattooing or light to dark? So let me bring this up. So I'm going to show you something. Let me zoom in kind of close here. Okay, so I'll give you an example. When I'm tattooing something like this mouth right here, let's see if I can get it up a little higher. So if I'm tattooing this mouth, the first thing I want to do is establish my shapes as light as possible in case I make mistakes, need to correct them. And what I mean by that is I go so light, it's almost, if it were to heal when I first start, it would have probably healed and disappeared because I want my stencil not to disappear. So if I'm working on this mouth, I need to get my shapes established as light as possible and with minimal damage so I can come back in and keep making darker. So the black that you see inside this mouth, I didn't add until I had this whole area mapped out. I call it mapping, where you get all of your shapes and all your stencil and all your little details mapped out first by using maybe a really light gray wash or what's called bloodlining, where you're using just water in your needle. So you can make a mark, it shows up, but you can go back over and correct it if you need to later on. So I'm usually always doing that. I map it out first a lot of times, especially if it's this complex. And then after that, then I can go in and start establishing my colors. Now, I definitely wouldn't be putting white in these highlights, like right here in the teeth, before I did black. I would want to do my black first. So a little pro tip, the way I like to get these types of tattoos done. So if you're looking at this, the thing I like to do first, before I use my super bright white, like this highlight here on the tooth, and my super dark black, like here inside the mouth, what I like to do is force myself to get it to look as good as possible before I actually ever dip into my super dark black or my darkest black and or touch white. Meaning I like to get it looking as good as I can first with the tones like mediums and lights. Then I will come in with my blacks and use them only when they actually have to be. Whenever I'm training somebody to tattoo, the first thing I remind them, or the first thing that I really try to say to them if they're doing something complex like this, is to protect their highlights and to protect their darks. See, if I were to use just this black dark everywhere, like here in the cheeks, around the nose, which is almost no black at all, if I used black everywhere in these eyes where it's dark, then I would never get all these extra tones. These tones would just disappear. Because if it was all black, it would, there's so much to it, so I'll keep it simple there. If you use too much black everywhere in this whole picture, then the black that's in the mouth is going to lose its punch, its ability to look darker. So you have to really protect your blacks, only use them where you absolutely have to, and you have to protect your whites as well. You definitely have to protect those. So working from dark to light is relative to the piece, if that doesn't make it confusing for you. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Brody is asking, what's the next famous person portrait? Well, if anybody's down, let me see. I'm going to send something to the old computers. Let's see here, and see if I can show you guys something. It's actually a tattoo that I really want to do. You probably can't guess what it is. Let me see if I can scroll through here and find this piece that there's so many camping photos that we took. Look at this one. You guys want to see something adorable? Look at old Samurai. Young Samurai, she's not old. This is Samurai, you can't really tell, but she's eating a Cheeto on the side of the lake. It's pretty fucking cool. She looks adorable. She looks like a child. I'm actually going to lower let's do that so you can see it a little better. Maybe it just won't focus, but anyway, she's eating hot Cheetos by the lake. I just thought I would show that to you since I'm thumbing through the old phone. Let me see if I can find this image of Batman. That's who it is. That's my next celebrity that I want to do. See if I can find it. It's not really a celebrity considering it's a character, but yeah, it's probably too far back. I don't want to have so many photos from different vacations. Maybe it's close. Maybe it's here. Let's see, a couple more seconds. Yeah, it's too far back. Anyway, nobody ever asks for a Batman. I want to tattoo a Batman. If somebody could just bring me, please, some fresh skin to tattoo a Batman, I would be much obliged. It's just something I never get to do. Heidi's saying that's why it's worth it to pay money for a good tattoo artist. I think it is. Even if you're doing small tattoos, which I don't do much anymore, even if you do small tattoos, I can't tell you how many times I have heard people say, man, I watched this guy do this really great, huge piece on my husband or my friend or my brother, or this guy did this huge, beautiful piece. And then when he got to my little, rose with my grandma's name in it, he just destroyed it. Well, it's like I say it all the time. It's like music. Just because somebody can play this type of guitar and this type of music or sing this kind of opera doesn't mean they can do it all. So be very careful who you go to. Be very selective. Do your homework best you can. Ask me. I always encourage people. Reach out to me and ask me. If you say, hey, here's my idea. I know you're not willing to do it. Maybe it's lettering. Maybe it's small pieces, whatever. Or maybe you're not in my shop because you're not in our town. You're not in our country. Maybe not in our state or not local. And you want advice. I actually encourage people all the time to reach out and ask me, whether it's me and my professional opinion or other people that work in my shop that can help you as well. Because I know it's hard. You might say, hey, here's what I want. I'm going to go to this person. What do you think? And I can tell you right away, yes or no. It's pretty easy for me to spot those things. So it's hard for people who aren't heavily tattooed to figure that out. But it is very important to go to the right artist and to pay the right money for it too. See, I guess I skipped a couple. Looks like Danbury, I'll be seeing you soon. Friday, I guess I will be there all day long. Okay. And actually, I do have a whole list of tattoos that I want to do that are like dream list tattoos. I need to just finally commit to posting them on Instagram. I'll put it on one of my reels for the tattoo shop page of tattoos that I want to do on people. I actually have the images, so it'll be easy to skip through them and see if there's something there you want. I'm always willing to work on if it's something, a passion project that I want to work on, I'm always willing to, give people the best deal possible, as well as being fair for both of us, making it well worth both of our time. And so Batman, guys, anybody, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your kids, if they're old enough, that Farmer wants to do a Batman tattoo. How I've not done one yet blows my fucking mind. Y'all got to get with the program. Okay, looks like I've caught up to the questions, caught up to the responses. Let's double check Facebook here as well. If you guys are watching on Facebook, again, I like to say it all the time, that it's better on YouTube because they can actually see your comments. I have to go scroll through Facebook to be able to see them, so it's a little pain in the ass. Either way, you guys know I appreciate you. This is a very chill hour and 20-minute live stream. If this isn't as Landy's actually asking which Batman, I really don't care. There's great images, honestly. Well, except for George Clooney, any of them would be great. I could find something awesome to do. That's huge. Natalie just threw a whole Dr. Phil question out at us right now. Natalie says, do you believe needing closure? I don't mean to laugh. Do you believe needing closure when a relationship ends is necessary? I think it's necessary to make loud, clear signals to your brain with whatever decisions you've made, so that it's very obvious to yourself and to the world that something has either begun or ended. That's why we celebrate life when a baby's born. That's why we memorialize people when they pass away. It's very important for humans, yes, to, I think, to have rituals. Matter of fact, I personally believe in, if you need closure when a relationship ends, I believe the best way to do it, if you need, because you're saying you need closure, the best way to do it is to have a ceremony and burn things. And I'm not talking about arson, and I'm not talking about burning something down that's going to get in trouble. I've actually known people who've gone to prison for burning somebody's stuff while in a relationship that went south. Do not do that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if there's personal items and you have a controlled fire. I shouldn't have to say this, but man, I'd hate to encourage someone to do something stupid. Anyway, the one person I was talking about ended up burning a forest down. So it was a felony, and she went to prison for a very long time. Side note, do you believe needing closure when a relationship ends is necessary? 100% necessary. You got to send a loud, clear signal to your brain. See, most people live lukewarm. So they stay on the fence. They keep people trailing. They keep people in their radar. They keep people close. They're like, oh, we broke up, but we're still friends. I just think that's pussy shit. But, teach their own. That's what people do. It is what it is. But I definitely think people need closure for whatever life changes come about. I think it's very, very, very important. And ceremonially speaking, have a nice little fire, throw some shit in there, write a letter, write their name, whatever you have to do, throw it in that fire, watch it burn, so that you get a loud, clear signal that shit is fucking over. Lanny says, oh, not Clooney. Yeah, definitely not. And she's saying, I loved Keaton as Batman. Who doesn't? Anybody who doesn't like Keaton as Batman is just a complete moron. Brother Jade's agreeing. Okay, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we got 15 people on here, still rocking and rolling. If you're on Facebook, thanks for joining us. If you're on YouTube, even better. I always encourage people to go to the YouTubes and watch me on the interwebs there. It's always better for me and also for the comments as well. Okay, let me take a look here. So we went over a lot. I think tonight is pretty tame, just considering that, truth be told, the headache that I was dealing with all day probably won't go away until I wake up in the morning. So thanks for tolerating my unusual behavior, or at least my numbed down behavior. Hopefully it wasn't too obvious, but if it was, forgive me. I did my best. Ian is inviting himself onto the show. Could I be a guest on October 12th? I'm there the 8th through the 16th of October. Yeah, let's talk about it. We'll figure it out. See what happens. I don't know exactly what I'm doing in October, but I know it will be a busy month for me. A little bit of traveling, family. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be going to Hawaii in October, ironically. Interesting. Okay, guys, it's been an hour and 30 minutes. We did our due diligence. You guys joined me for the episode number 59. We're looking at 60 next week. This will be a lot of fun. 60 is a big number for me. It's just really cool. Really cool that you guys stuck with me this long. I appreciate you. I hope you guys had a great night. Hope you had a good weekend. I look forward to always seeing you guys, and obviously chatting with you in the comments and seeing what you have to say or what you have to ask. I really do appreciate it. And I hope this was as good for you as it was for me. Okay, let's take a look here. Just kind of scrolling through the comments to make sure I didn't miss anybody. It looks like I got everything available. So you guys know who you are. Thanks for participating. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the likes, the love, the comments, the attention. You know I love attention. And that will be it for the night. Casey's asking one last question. We will talk about that again. I don't have anything special for next week, but I do have things planned coming up after next week's episode that will be special. So we'll talk about that then. Rochelle's on here saying, love you, Joshy. Good night, Wednesday family. Love you, Rochelle. Love you a lot. Tell Scar that I said hello. You guys, thanks for being on here. I appreciate you. Artistic Freedom, Joshua Ray Farmer, episode 59. Over and out.